Hi everyone, welcome to lesson 4 of resilience. Today we'll be talking about managing anxiety and positive emotions. Now I know we talked about catastrophizing last week and that can cause anxiety and nervousness. That's why I feel like it's important to talk about managing anxiety. And also I know we talked about non-resilient thinking and how to tackle that in real time, but that takes practice and I have a feeling that you will still be finding yourself catastrophizing at times and feeling anxious. So that's why I want to share some tips and tricks on how to manage it. Also, disclaimer, this is not meant to be treatment for those that suffer with anxiety disorder. That is a real mental health illness, and I am not a mental health professional. So if you do suffer from a mental health illness, whether that be an anxiety disorder or not, I recommend that you go see a mental health professional. Okay, let's get started. So, with anxiety and a lot of negative emotions, you're going to go into the fight or flight response, which you've probably heard of before. Your heart is going to start pumping a lot. Your brain is going to release chemicals like cortisol, which is your stress hormone, or adrenaline, and your pupils will dilate. And what you want to do when you manage anxiety and negative emotions is to calm yourself down. And by the way, negative emotions aren't all bad. They're there for a reason. They can help you in certain situations. And I'll talk a little bit more about that a little later, but let's talk about how you can calm yourself down. So here's a cognitive way to manage that anxiety. The first thing you want to do is think of your worst case. And you're probably already thinking about that when you're catastrophizing. You're thinking of that worst case scenario. And what you want to do is let it all out. Let it all out. And then a lot of people stay in this worst case scenario sort of mind space, the head space. What you want to do is pull yourself out of that. Think of the best case scenario. Give yourself some relief and some of that positive emotion. Once you've thought about that best case scenario, think of the most probable case. This is going to be the most likely case out of the worst and the best case scenario, because the worst case and best case scenario are probably on the ends of the spectrum. The probable case is going to be what is probably going to happen, and come up with a plan of action for that. Coming up with a plan of action will help increase your sense of self-efficacy, which will help make you feel better as well. It'll generate some positive emotions, and it is one of the things, self-efficacy is one of the factors that contribute to resilience, so it'll help you be more resilient as well. One thing you can do with this cognitive way to tackle anxiety is to write it out, because it'll create some distance between you and the situation. And you don't even have to use pen and paper. You can use the Notes app on your phone, but it's up to you. Okay, second way you can do this is through deliberate breathing. What you want to do, put one hand on your stomach. You can't see my stomach, but I'm putting my hand on my stomach, and the other hand on your chest. And think of your stomach as a balloon. So when you're inhaling, you're inflating the balloon, and when you're exhaling, you're deflating the balloon. And do it in a cadence of 5. So inhale for 5, hold for 5, and exhale for 5, and then repeat. That'll help calm your body down a little bit because you are breathing a little bit slower. Okay, and the third way I wanted to talk about is mindfulness. And I know this is something that is preached at so much, but it's actually really good for you. It helps rewire your brain for the better, and those who practice mindfulness tend to be in better moods and live their life a little more fully. And what mindfulness is viewing your thoughts and your feelings from a distance in a non-judgmental way. That is so key. Don't judge yourself, especially if you're feeling anxiety or some other negative emotion. If you're judging yourself, you're just going to feel worse, and that's not what we want. In this mindfulness way to tackle anxiety, what you want to do is view your anxiety from a distance, notice it, acknowledge it, and focus on something else. Focus on something that's safe, comforting, and stable. So something like your breath. Think about how you're breathing in and where it's breathing out, and that'll help you calm yourself because you're thinking of something a little more safe and comforting. Okay, now I wanted to talk about positive emotions as well, because lots of people don't really know the benefits of positive emotions besides that it makes you feel good. And yes, feeling good is good for you, but also there's so many other things that positive emotions help you do. Now, I said earlier that I was going to talk about how negative emotions can sometimes be good for you. And one of those ways is by narrowing your awareness. For example, if there is a bear coming at you, you are going to start feeling anxiety and you're going to start feeling scared. Your fight or flight response is going to be triggered, and you're just going to be focused on that situation, on that bear, and thinking of a way to escape. That's really good for you because you're putting all your energy onto that dangerous situation, and you're more likely to get out of it. You're not going to see like a pretty flower and be like, oh my gosh, that's such a pretty flower. You're not going to notice it. You're just going to focus on that situation. And that's useful for you. Positive emotions, on the other hand, help broaden your awareness. So you are able to see everything around you. And that's good for you because it can help you notice all the amazing things in your life. The second thing is that positive emotions increase creativity. So in an experiment where participants were split into one that got to see a positive emotion stimulus and therefore feel positively, and one where they were feeling neutral and they just stayed neutral. When they were asked to do the same puzzles, those who were feeling positive emotions were a lot more creative in those puzzles, and therefore were a lot more successful in solving them. The third thing with positive emotions is that it increases your cognitive flexibility, which is something that contributes to your resilience. Studies have shown that those who are good with positive emotions and evoking them within themselves, and those who are negative most of the time, they have the same level of anxiety and negative emotions. But those who are able to master those positive emotions are able to get out of those negative emotions quicker. And so because of that, they're a lot more resilient. And the fourth thing that positive emotions help you do is build resources. For example, when you're feeling joyful, you want to play, right? And when you play, a lot of the time you're doing that with other people. And so you're strengthening those relationships and building those relationships. Or, for example, if you're in a state of serenity, then you're feeling rested and recharged, and therefore your energy resources are being replenished. And also, with positive emotions, I wanted to focus on gratitude. I know lots of people know that gratitude is super good for you, but I just wanted to re-emphasize it. I've talked about it in my October Science of Well-Being Soft Skill of the Month videos, but gratitude is so important. Gratitude helps increase your happiness and decrease symptoms of depression. It helps you have better mental and physical health. It helps you have better relationships, and it helps you have stronger faith and spirituality, which is one of the things that helps contribute to your resilience. Also, it helps increase your humility. And by the way, humility, this is a brilliant quote by C.S. Lewis. Humility is not thinking less of yourself, it's thinking of yourself less. It's not putting yourself down, but it's not spending so much time thinking about yourself. And gratitude basically is spending less time thinking about the negatives and focusing on the positives. I'm not going to talk too much more about gratitude because there are so many reasons, and I think that you guys know that gratitude is good for you. But if you're able to find a way to bring gratitude into your life, whether that be through gratitude journaling or writing an email to people that you are grateful for, or talking about what you are grateful for at the dinner table, there's no like one size fits all gratitude practice. But if you can find a practice that works for you, works in your life, that would be super helpful and important to you, because gratitude, so much research has been shown that it is really good. So gratitude, please do in your life. And that's it for this lesson. I hope you guys found it useful, and I'll see you guys next time in our last lesson about resilience. All right, bye.